Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I will focus to LambdaClient PHP class that comes with AWS Software Developer Kit and its method called PublishLayerVersion. So this method allows us to publish the newer versions of Lambda layers, and so in today's tutorial, how we do it, I have prepared instructions JSON file that gives us instructions for the layer name and the files I need to compile under the layer. So the main idea is I have GitHub Repository here, and every time I'm updating the classes, I want them to be carried over to Lambda. So I have in my Lambda, I have always the latest PHP Include classes that I can use. So this is a good use case for our method, PublishLayerVersion, and let's get started. The idea is that instruction file that is here contains the instructions what files to pack inside the Lambda layer. And in this case, I have two files, both of the MySQL class and AWS helper class, that is a class built by myself, that simply returns the version number, and that's all. So to get started, I will explain what I have done so far. So I created the credentials file where I put my AWS key and secret. I have prepared two files, two functions, the compose path function and the pull curl function. This is simple file download, and this will prepare my GitHub committed file in a raw format. So basically, if I'm accessing the GitHub with my username, repository and branch, I can access the same files that I would normally get from the GitHub repository. So the path for the instruction file is here. I will start using it in a little bit, but let me explain what else did I do. So under the configuration, I changed the timeout from 3 seconds to 30 seconds just to be able to push the layer to Amazon without timeout. So let's get started. I will explain in a bit what we need to do, but let me uncomment this function. Basically what it does, it's just returning this instruction file URL, just replacing some of the variables and returning me the path that works. So let's test quickly that one. Return compose path, and let's put some parameters in. Git repository, git branch, and git path, and let's assign this. Main branch, and git path is the remainder of the path. All right, let's test. Let's make sure we have the path that actually works. There we go. So we have instruction file path on the variable. Now let's uncomment the function pull curl. So this is a function that downloads the whole thing, downloads my instructions. There you go. Okay, and let's see if we retrieve the instructions. Okay, so this variable here carries now all the instructions that I'm going to decode. Was not retrieved. Instructions equals JSON decode. Okay. Turn Let's test quickly to make sure we get the instructions as it intended. No directives. Let me see. It's probably just some typo here. Yeah, here's something wrong. Let's test one more time. All good. Okay, so now what we need to do. So we're gonna loop through every layer that we need to, download and zip and publish. So you can add more layers here if you need more than one. But and then we are going to loop through all the files that we need to add to the layer. And if we go to the documentation, so we see there are a few things we need to provide to the method. So first is the layer name that we get from here. If the Lambda has seen the layer with this name in the past, then it creates a new version. If not, it will create the layer version number 1. If you push another update, it just raises the version number by 1 until to infinity. I have tested with something where I created 28,000 layer versions, and it was a mistake, obviously, costly mistake from my side, but I was able to fix it. And yeah, so there is no limitations. I think how many layers you can have. I think at least like 64,000 for sure. So let's continue. And then we loop through all the files and we're gonna zip it and publish the new layer version. So let's create the for loop. So layer name and files. And before we continue, there's one more thing we need to do. So we need to establish a Lambda client. So this one that has the method available. So let me copy paste it here. So the region is coming from it's defined region that comes from the region list. The next one is the version. It comes from the documentation. Then there's AWS key and secret. So here I'm going to put the key and secret to the credentials file and include it in the beginning. So just so my keys and my key and secret won't get compromised, I will put it to the credentials file. So let me do that here. Okay, and let me put the key and secret in here. Let me save it, upload, and close the file. All right, so the key and secret is here. I'm gonna use them by including the credentials PHP. There's many ways how to do the how to send your credentials to the Lambda client, but yeah, this is the less secure one, but for this demo we don't need anything else. So what we do now, let's just test if the files are really there. Print our files. Let's see if we have these two files on my array here. And there we go. So next thing we need to do is we need to establish the zip class. I have a great zip class that is from the grant, also added to the vendor files. So the good thing about this class is it's zipping in the memory. So we don't have to like download the files to the temp folder and then zip together, and it is able to do everything on the memory. And this is that's why this class is good. So I will include the class path on the description below, and you can get it from there. So let me create the zip class here. So then we're gonna do another loop here. We're gonna unset the zip class, and now let's go through all the files and let's pack them inside the new zip file. So for each, let's add a little bit space here. Files as, since this array doesn't have a key, we can send it to the void, and let's do input output. Yeah, we can do this. All right, so let me test if input output carries the right value. There we go. So path is the file I need to download from GitHub, and destination is where I need to put the file in the zip file. So one thing you should know is that it will upload the layer to the opt folder. So instead of includes class MySQL PHP, you're gonna include it later with opt includes class MySQL PHP. But that's that I will show you a little bit later. So now we need to use the add file function. So zip class add file. We call it input output. No, first we need the contents, of course. So let me get the contents. And everything is the same except this one. So this is going to be input output and path. Let's do like this. If no contents, continue. If there's content, we're gonna add it to the desired destination. Okay. And we do it for every file. So let me quickly test with if we're able to retrieve the right content from the GitHub. So basically what it does, it adds this to the end, and let's visually confirm the file is there. Yeah, so the file is here. It should retrieve it and put it to the zip. So there you go. As you can see, it downloaded successfully the file. So what we do now is we add the file to the zip in the memory. We need to finalize this, and let's test it. data. Let's see if the return value is package zip file. Yeah, so it starts with PK. You see this is already encrypted zip file contents. So I will assign it to the variable, and here the variable carries the layer that we can upload to Lambda. So between the unsetting and before the uploading, I will put one more thing here. So let's make a test if there are zip contents, if it's not empty. Contents. I will do this. I will set the layer description, because if you go back to the parameter syntax, you see that you can also provide the description and license info and compatible architecture and runtime. So yeah, I'm just compiling the layer description. So first, layer compiled by, I want to add this function name, and I want to add the time. So description equals and function, and let's add the date. Okay, now let's do this. Let me copy the actual piece that publishes the layer. So LambdaClient, did we create it? Yeah, it's with this name. LambdaClient PublishLayerVersion. So we're gonna add the architecture. The runtime is Amazon Linux 2. The layer name comes from the first loop, and layer description and zip contents. So let me quickly test to make sure everything is fine. I just want to see how this layer submit is going to look like, the array. What I did wrong, 114. I think it's missing the I need to return it. So compatible architecture is this one. Runtime provided, description. Yeah. And the content, that is the zip file content. All right, looks good. So let's continue, and let's put this one back. We don't need the print R. We need to take away this one. Also, we want to get it to array. And here we go. So if I have done everything right, so we will publish another version of the AWS PHP Include. So before we run the function, let's see. So the latest version is 4 at the moment from my distribution. Let's run the function now. So no response, so I guess the function ran through. Let me add the success message. And let me add one more thing. because this class, this zip class carries an error that it's returning the deprecated message. So I'm just silencing that one. And so let's take a look if the layer version number 5 is published. And there you go. You can see that version number 5 is published. I can switch to that one now. So it is downloading the files from GitHub and updating the version. Yeah, I was talking about this error message, this deprecated message that we silenced with the error reporting here. Yeah, so if I run one more time, it publishes another version of Layer. Obviously, in my next video, I'm going to show you how to avoid like uploading duplicates. But for this test, you can see runtime version number 6 is created. What we do in my next video, we're gonna checksum the file contents, the zip file contents, and if it exists and it is the same, then we won't upload. And now, since I have included this class on my Lambda library, I can quickly demonstrate you how you would include it. So if file exists, opt includes and it's with underscore. So you can see the function has now access to the class, and it is the latest version downloaded from GitHub. So that concludes my tutorial today. Thank you for watching. Press the like and subscribe for my channel.